I hope that you're having a bright day. Let's get into this. I'm going to be explaining Duat and the 5 gates. Well, I'm sorry, I said 5 gates. The 12 gates of the Egyptian afterlife and their beliefs. It's also shared with Chinese, but I'm not sure if it's the exact same way as the Egyptians' beliefs. It may be, it may be not. But let's get started. So first, the gate 1. When a person dies, the Egyptians believe that the soul is split into 2. So the heart, the bodies, all the ugly stuff, all the personality is left with the body, okay? And the interesting part is if the body decays before they reach paradise, then their soul is forever split in 2 and they were stuck in Duat. So Duat is kind of meant to be this struggle, okay? You have to work towards your paradise. And even once you get to the paradise, it still isn't necessarily fair or much of a paradise. But it's what it is. And you have to overcome these challenges. So you pass through each gate, and then you pass through different gates to get to this, okay? And they have these gods for each gate. So when you die, so people that are surrounding you, it's harder for those without money, as usual, even in the old times, because they have to go out to the, far in the desert and put themselves in dry land and make sure that their loved one or friend isn't going to die before they reach paradise. So they have to sit out on dry land. But while if you're a Pharaoh, you get this mummification process. You get put in this nice box, and that way you're entombed. And that way it takes longer for your body to actually decay. It all happens while you're dead. So the part of your soul that is just the energy, the personality stays left behind with the heart. But the part of your soul that is it goes off into Duat, and there's a fairy that's supposed to take you there, okay, with the gods. And sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does. You're supposed to persuade it, because it's not just going to take you willingly. It doesn't always come directly to take you to the battle for paradise. So even before, you don't just get directly there. There's numerous stages and numerous battles that you have to go through before you can even reach paradise, which really isn't much of a paradise in my book. So if you are able to persuade the ferryman to take you to Duat, then you are greeted by 2 serpents and 1 god at the door, and you're just meeting other gods and getting to know them. I think that's the simplest one out of all of them to me. You're just meeting other people. You're meeting the gods. You're coming with the concept that, oh hey, you're dead, your soul, this is what's going to happen, this is what might happen, things like that. Just going to a party and hanging out and trying to make some new friends. But after that, that's when it gets a bit more difficult. The second one, it's kind of the same thing, except this time they're split in half. So you have the top one, which is meant for pure souls, and you have the bottom one, which is meant for bad, evil souls, as society would put it. And these things are, if the top souls, you weren't necessarily meant to be if you weren't blessed, you still weren't blessed. You still had to answer some questions. So if you didn't follow certain rules or guidelines put by Ra, it's God, then you'd go down and you'd be with the bad souls, which were perceived to be evil. And then you would continue, and I got the last ones confused, I'm sorry. You continue to see the snakes, the serpents, and the god Amaha, and there'd be fire, but those who weren't evil could pass through it. And they were told that this would be very hard for them. It would be perilous. So, yeah. 3rd gate. Now, the 3rd gate is, I think it's kind of ironic. It's split in 3. So, I like to consider middle the neutral one, but again, top blessed, bottom evil. And it's kind of the same thing. Hold on. Yes, they had this lake of fire and 12 mummies like that were animated. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool too. And so the lake of fire, you could not go across it if you were evil. So they made sure that no evil person was getting into their paradise. And like I said, I still feel like it wasn't really that much of a paradise, just because, I mean, we'll get to it eventually. So I mean, that's for me to know and you to find out. Now, gate 4. My book was like amazing, okay? It's awesome. So it's really cool because they had the Lake of Urea, and that is just the Lake of Life. So the last one for gate 3, you had the Lake of Fire. This one you had the Gate of Life, okay? And then it was occupied by 24 people. 12 gods and 12 gods with doppelgangers. I mean, how cool is that? Like, wouldn't you want to meet a doppelganger for a god? So yeah, that's what they had for gate number 4. But gate number 5, and I didn't even finish talking about gate 4. So gate 4, Pharaoh had to feed them. So from what I gather, my understanding of it, by the Pharaoh being there, by the soul being there, they have woken up them. They have resurrected them. And so they had to feed them. They had to take care of them in a way. And that allowed them to head down close to the gate 5. And gate 4, like, they had this goddess of time, and there was also a female serpent. Well, a girl serpent, okay? I believe her name was called Amma. No, I forgot. But there was a female serpent, and yeah, I believe she was the goddess of time too. The goddess of time, and it was just beautiful. Like, it's just, well, I wasn't there, at least not in this lifetime, as far as I know, but from what I learned about it, it's gorgeous. Like, it's kind of cool. And I mean, like, sure, you may not want to take care of people all the time, but if you did, like, resurrect, that's like, they just, to put it simply, they kind of just adopted a baby for a short period of time and just, like, try to raise that baby for a little bit of time to go into gate 5. Now, gate number 5 is where the heart part comes in. So, there's 42 sins, right? Oh, clearly. And these 42 sins, you'd have, based on how many you've done, like, determines whether your heart is pure or not, okay? And so, it's weighed on a scale with a feather. You're like, I'm sure my heart is heavier than a feather. But it's like the energy, the essence of the heart, okay? And so, the eyes are the doorway to seeing the soul. But I think the heart is the power, the fuel for your soul. Therefore, a person's heart is put on the scale against the feather, and the feather is light, a feather is pure, and a feather is just soft. It's just, I don't know if you've ever felt a feather, but it's actually really nice to feel. It's like really beautiful. And they just waited, okay, to see who was pure, and that would determine if you would move on. Like I said, they had like a lot. They had to make sure that no evil, no bad got into their paradise, what they considered paradise. These pharaohs were trained up from the age that they were born for this challenge, for Duat, because they knew that it would be a battle. Okay, that was their beliefs. That once they died, that it would be a struggle to head down to what was considered to be paradise. And they were told that a person that wasn't pharaoh, that wasn't a god or put on a higher stone or power, wouldn't be able to get there, but they would. It just wouldn't be as nice for a pharaoh as it would be for a common worker. Their paradise would be a few more bits of grain to eat. Not really much of a paradise, if you ask me. Major scenery, obviously, you can see. Now, gate 5 or hour 5, if you are not turned into oblivion because your heart is pure, your heart's light as feather, it's equal, that that 9 and third, then you go on to gate 6 or hour 6, and that is when things start to get a bit hectic. Not that it wasn't already hectic before. It gets hectic because you have to deal with a god, also known as Aphosis, okay? And by you being there, just your presence, because you are the Pharaoh, let's just say, for instance, that you are awakening the gods, okay? So just like in, maybe it was hour 4 or gate 4 where you had to feed them, and these ones you have to battle Aphosis, okay? And in gate 6, you're not meant to battle him yet. I'm not sure why, but he's restrained by gods, okay? Gods help you with this, help you to deal with him because of how, like, powerful he is. He's meant to destroy you, okay? And you have to make it all the way to Ra, which is gate 12 or hour 12, to reach what you've been told is your paradise. So gate 7, you get blessed, okay? And then there's more challenges about whether you're evil or whether you're not evil. This goes along with gate 8, okay? But then when it comes to gate 9, you have to battle Aphosis, okay? And you get the help of gods. And then what's called gate 10, hour 10, you get Aphosis gets chained up by the gods. And then you go on to gate 11, or maybe that's gate 11, and then everything's like swell, and then you get prepared for gate 12, which is this is why I say it's not really much of a paradise. That's my brother. This is why I say it's not really much of a paradise, because when it comes to gate 12, when it comes to gate 12, you are getting prepared to become the sun. Okay, you're the sun. And other readings, other stories, and other stories or other like readings, they have like somewhere everything's swell, but it's like life, but better, supposedly. Okay? So you go from this 3D realm to another realm that you either become the sun, or you're either like this regular old person and you just get a few more grains of salt to eat, or a few more grains of wheat to eat. Like, you see how that's not really, I wouldn't consider that paradise. I'd consider paradise something where I'm eating healthy, I'm happy, it's like fun, it's like good, it's like swell, that's what I consider paradise. You can consider paradise whatever you want. Actually, comment down below on what you would consider your own paradise and what you would want it to be. But yeah, that's the Egyptians for you. So that's how they did things, and that's how it worked. There you go. Look at that. They were raised from a young age to believe like this was their truth, okay? That when they die, like the pharaohs, like the people that are supposedly rich and such, that they would go on to this and they would go to a battle called Duat, and they'd have to convince a ferryman to take them, and so they could pass through 12 gates, okay? That is what they were raised to be, and that is what they were raised to believe. And that may be different from what other people who aren't in that society or religion, because this is ancient times, okay? We all know that over time, Egyptians, like, their true form has been changed over the years because other people have traveled to Egypt and convinced them that they're not Africans, that they don't live in Africa. Okay, and maybe possibly years ago when ancient Egyptians exist, it wasn't called Africa. I mean, so much stuff is covered up because of the government, who knows. But they're living in Africa, and they look so different from the way that they used to be and the way that they originally were. Okay? And so, this is why I say, like, yeah. So, that's what you would see if you went to Egypt. So, it's possible that they don't even know about these types of religions that have and that they've been passed on. So, this may not even be true. But this is what I've researched. This is what I found. I've got from multiple sources. I encourage you to back check on what else, like what I found and what I've told you. But yeah. And the pharaohs are also raised to believe that peasants or just simple people that didn't really have much worth were not going to go to the paradise that they were going to go. And they were told that they would only get a few bits of grain for their paradise. Okay, a few more bits of wheat to eat. And so, here's how they had to mummify the body, okay, where the mummies came in. Because if they died while they were still in the process of their, of their Duat, of their journey towards their paradise, then their souls would be separate forever, and it automatically be over for them. So if they were evil, if their heart weighed more than a feather, okay, if their body decayed before they finished their travels, if they didn't defeat Apophis, I hope that's how you say his name, Apophis, I think so. Like, all of these things and if they couldn't catch the ferryman, if they couldn't convince the ferryman to give them a ride to Duat, then they weren't going to be able to have that chance to go to paradise. And their souls would be lost forever. Their souls would be separated. Like, the souls were split in half. So you have the personality, and then you just have, like, the plain old soul that would travel and try to defeat it. Okay? And not all of these people were taught, but they did know their religion. And they did know that, so simple men, like, Pharaohs had, rich people, they had, like, these fancy things that would help them with this journey. But people that didn't have as much money would have to go out to the desert and lay them out in the ground in hopes that it would slow down the decaying process. And it takes, I think it was either 8 to 12 hours for a body to decay or 8 to 10 days. But I'm pretty sure it was 8 to 12 hours. Comment down below to see if I'm right or wrong. Because I don't really remember. But that's what happened. And the mummification process, like, they had to feed them. Like, they poured water down their mouths and, like, gave them food to help them feel better. So those families that traveled far out into the desert to hope that their deceased loved one would reach the paradise, they had to also go right back out to make sure that they were well fed, okay, well nourished, and that they were, like, that they weren't thirsty. Because, I mean, they had to keep that soul alive, And then for the other person, they just had it right in the castle. So, yeah. Thank you for commenting or, like, watching my channel. And I hope that you enjoyed something and found it interesting. So, yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay. Have a bright day, and I hope you enjoyed. Oh, my brother says hi, obviously, because you saw him when he was, like, peeking up at, yeah, anyway. Have a bright day, and, well, here it's nighttime. I don't know where you are. It may be daytime, and it may be, like, just, like, afternoon with a cup of tea. So, yeah. Just have a bright life.